A very close family friend of ours was a national level footballer. For his company, he won a lot of trophies and was acclaimed by spectators. But 5 years into retirement, his world collapsed. He went to depression. Why? Because he was broke. Broke because he did not know how to manage money. We send our children to school and they spend more than 15 odd years in school, sometimes even more. And in school they are taught a lot of subjects, history, geography, physics, literature. But one subject which they will be needing for the rest of their life, money management, is hardly being taught in school. How many of you all were taught money management in school? Hardly anyone. When money management is not taught in school, how is it that we expect children to be savvy later on in life? And then we are left to figure it out the hard way, through mistakes, through debt traps, through years of lost saving, even at the cost of dignity in later life. Let's come back to the relative that I was talking about. He was not someone who was careless. He was a person who was working in a multinational firm, but this multinational firm did not offer any pension. So at the end of his tenure, when he retired, he was given a lump sum, a substantial lump sum. But because he was not very savvy with managing money, he had to depend on friends and relatives to invest somewhere. But unfortunately, that fell through. And within 3 to 4 years, he was in a state wherein he did not have any finances. He was broke. And this is not an isolated case. A recent survey by an insurance company revealed that about 75% of our retired people fear that their life savings will not last for more than 7 to 10 years. Isn't that shocking? Then what are we doing about it? Why are we not ensuring that financial literacy is given from a young age? To ensure that this doesn't happen to me, I thought of having a secondary stream of income. Through a insurance firm, I took a pension plan. Over a period of 15 years, I paid premium. At the end, I received an annuity. That annuity, when I received it, it was quite good. But over a period of time, I discovered something, the vagaries of inflation. What seemed to be good in the initial stages, over a period of time, the purchasing power of that annuity kept decreasing. And I sometimes wonder, 10 years down the line, will this same annuity fetch me even a decent cup of coffee in a joint? But if you have to fight the vagaries of inflation, there is compounding that is there. Compounding is, if you start early and invest wisely, compounding will take care of the needs that you need. Albert Einstein called compounding at the 8th wonder of the world, not without reason. If a child invests, say, 500 rupees a month, which is less than the cost of a pizza, by the age of 60, he would have 70 lakhs. But if the same person invests at the age of 35 with the same rate of interest, you will find that the corpus is only 7 lakhs. So you need to ensure, for compounding to happen, that you invest early and sustain continuously. But when is it that we will teach our children the power of compounding if in school life we are not talking about compounding? In school, all that we found is compound is a formula in a maths class. And these lessons we somehow or the other fail to pass on to the new generation. So every time we see that the same mistakes get committed again and again. So what's the way out? We need to start investing early and to ensure that this sum is proper, what's the solution? The solution has to start from home. And at home, we need to ensure that the children are taught about finance from day one. In many of the Gujarati and Marwadi families, we find money matters are part of the dinner conversation. So when they grow up, they find that they are very, very savvy with money, and we can see that even at a young age that these people are quite savvy. But in most other places, somehow or the other, it is always put for a later date, and with consequences that we can all see. This education that we are talking about needs to start from our houses. We need to ensure parents talk about money on a daily basis. It could be about how interest works, how savings work, how can debt traps be there so that children are not enamored in that. And second, we need to have education institutions wherein financial literacy is part of the curriculum. We need to ensure that's part of the curriculum, and what has been taught in homes should then be replicated in colleges and educational institutions wherein more complex subjects like compounding, taxes, investments can be done. And as individuals, what we need to do is ensure that we start early, learn, relearn and unlearn. Compounding is a freedom, is not a maths formula. In the bigger picture, it's just not about money, it's about dignity. We need to ensure with financial literacy, our parents and grandparents in the summer of their life, in the autumn of their life, do not have to run around trying to arrange for finances because they were not savvy. And for the younger generations, this with the financial literacy, you can ensure that money matters does not scare you, but it's freedom. So my final question, will you go into the jungle without a compass? If you don't, why is it that you allow your children to go without a compass, that is financial literacy, in this jungle of life? So what we can do? First thing, ensure that money skills is a life skill to be taught at home, reinforced in schools and done on a daily basis. And again, investing or financial literacy is more about dignity, freedom, and we need to ensure that financial literacy starts small at a smaller scale and gets implemented on a daily basis. And three things that we always need to ensure that every child follows is save more than you spend. 2, invest early and consistently. And third is create multiple streams of income. So financial literacy is the pillar of our life. It is the compass of our life. We need to ensure every child has it or they get lost. Thank you very much.